must get our electoral process right, and that's what we seek to do.
House of Representatives passes Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021, approves harmonized PIB report.
We are pushing for the endorsement and operationalization of the National Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan.
Commencement of budget support loan repayment to states as National Economic Council meet. INEC releases list of candidates for Anambra governorship election.
The Federal Ministry of Education has spearheaded the implementation of the SSD, the Safe Schools Declaration in Nigeria.
Also tonight, Nigeria blazes the trail in Africa in the commitment to safe schools. Good evening and thank you for joining us on NTA Network News. I am Ienre John in Abuja. Welcome. The House of Representatives has passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021, which seeks to regulate the conduct of federal, state and federal capital territory elections. It also approved the Harmonized Conference Committee report on PIB. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali reports.
Friday is not among days of plenary, but the events of Thursday at the House of Representatives when members disagreed over the provisions of Clause 52 of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021 being considered led to reconvening of plenary. The clause deals with the mode of transmission of election results. A technical team from the Nigeria Communications Commission informed the House Friday that 50% of polling units in Nigeria have no effective network coverage and that no system is free from hacking.
About half of the polling units were covered with 2G/3G services, that is both 2G and 3G services. Roughly about 50.3% of those, then about 49.7% did not have any coverage at all.
This information paved the way for the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021.
57, 58, 59.
The reports of the Conference Committee on Petroleum Industry Bill allotting 3% for host communities as approved by the Senate and as agreed during the joint meeting was also passed.
This PIB will not suffer the same fate it has been suffering for the past 20 years.
May I move that this House do carry simultaneously the third reading of the two bills we have considered in the Committee of the Whole, the PIB, and of course the conference report that was submitted here in the interest, not only interest, in the overall interest of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it.
We have passed the electoral amendment. We have the controversial section 52. For clarity, we have left it as provided by the committee as it came, which is to allow INEC to determine whatever they want to do. But I believe that we've all been better informed by NCC that came and answered very critical questions. And I use this opportunity to talk to the people out there as well. We all want electronic transmission. Clearly, we all want electronic transmission. But based on the information that we have just received from the experts, it's not as easy as it sounds. We must get our electoral process right, and that's what we seek to do. When the time has come, when they've had when they have full coverage, we can come back here and amend the law.
The minority caucus in registering its resistance staged a walkout in the course of the clause-by-clause consideration of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill.
If that is the case, that they have carried it and waiting for us to do a rescission, because it was never carried. So the issue of rescission
no, sir.
will not even arise. I will advise that we leave the chamber. We are not part of it.
The House also considered and approved the interim reports of the Committee on AIDS, Loans and Debt Management for the 2018 to 2020 proposed external borrowing plan of the federal government. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
The minority caucus in the House of Representatives says it cannot be part of anything that will further lower the credibility of the electoral process in the country. House Minority Leader Ndidi Elumelu made this known to journalists after the caucus walked out during the consideration of the amendment of the Electoral Act. John Yaku has details.
The bone of contention is Clause 52, Subsection 2 of the Electoral Amendment Act, with orders on the inclusion of electronic transmission of election results.
Is it that we are not going to go back to that clause because, to our opinion, that clause 52.2 hadn't even been taken, talk less of asking us to apply the rules of the House? We say that you should come by way of rescission. If you do that, it means that you are saying that ab initio it had been carried.
This USSD function that we use just uses GSM network. That is all that we need. Like text messages, like SMS messages. That is all that we require to transmit a result. We don't need internet service. And we have more than 90% coverage.
And also, the fact that we have satellite communication, it will also be a backup that we can use for areas that there are no coverage, if there are any.
Also kicked against the 3% allocation to host communities while insisting on 5% allocation. The caucus said it will only insist on the part of justice and interest of Nigerians. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
Now, joining me live in the studio to discuss more on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill is an Associate Professor of Political Sociology and the Dean of Student Affairs, University of Abuja, Dr. Abubakar Umar Kari. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so what are the contentious issues in this bill and why?
Well, I think one or two members have already stated that the most contentious issue is Section 52, Section 2 of the proposed amendment, which tries to bring about the issue of electronic transmission of results from the polling unit to the collection center. For me, the House of Representatives handled the matter much better than the Senate. At least they decided to agree, even though without the minority caucus, the original amendment that the Independent National Electoral Commission should be allowed to decide whether the results from polling units can be transmitted electronically or manually at a particular polling unit. At the Senate, what transpired yesterday was quite sad. There was a deliberate attempt by the Senate to introduce issues that I feel will be quite counterproductive, if not dangerous. They said, in the first place, that INEC must consult the National Communication Commission and even the National Assembly itself before it takes a decision. It is counterproductive and dangerous because it appears to erode the independence of INEC. And INEC must truly remain independent. This is agitation that most Nigerians have been making, which we believe at least between 2011 and 2015, a lot of progress has been recorded. And the issue of electronic transmission is desirable. I'm very sure most Nigerians will prefer it because it will solve a lot of problems.
All right, now that's your view. Do you agree, because there are insinuations in some quarters that the viewpoints of people is actually as a result of different party lines, talking about the House now?
Yeah, what transpired in both the Senate and the House of Representatives was a tussle between the majority APC and the minority PDP, and the impression one gets, which is quite unfortunate, is that the ruling party does not want electoral reform, which I'm not sure that is not the case. It is the issue of how to present their own point of view. But the most important thing is that for me, most Nigerians prefer reforms using technology, electronic transmission. However, I must also concede the fact that the issues raised on the internet coverage is valid, but the most important thing is that INEC should be given the discretionary powers to decide when and where to employ or deploy electronic transmission of results.
Okay, now, on a final note, now, do you think that the amendment will strengthen the electoral process?
Yes. Don't forget that so many changes have been proposed into the amendment, and virtually all of them are very likely to strengthen the electoral process. Unfortunately, only Section 52.2 has been the bone of contention, and somehow it has overshadowed very beautiful changes that have been proposed. Even though I am not comfortable with another clause, Section 88, which tried to up spending limits for the various office holders. But having gone through the entire amendment itself, I think it is capable of bringing a lot of changes
and credibility into our electoral process.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abubakar, for your time and your thoughts tonight.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, now, the nation's excess crude account balance stands at $60.852 million, and state economic power continues to dwindle. The Central Bank of Nigeria has offered a lifeline to states to enable them commence payment on budget support loan facility this July. And as NNPC groans under heavy subsidy of 60 million litres of petrol consumed by Nigerians on a daily basis, National Economic Council Subcommittee investigating this submits draft report to the Council. Plus, states warned not to let down their guards as third wave of COVID-19 pandemic ravages across the globe. State House correspondent Jidudu Fadi has report on this and other deliberations at the Council's meeting.
There has been a kind of disagreement between the states and the nation's apex bank on when the repayment of the budget support loan facility taken by the states should commence. The commencement date has been postponed many times in view of the current economic challenges facing the states. This led to a meeting of representatives of the council headed by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo with Chairman of the Governors Forum, Kayode Fayemi, as member, and other stakeholders, which include the central bank. The meeting entered a kind of agreement that will provide a financing bridge facility to the states by the central bank so that the repayment can commence this July.
This is actually to keep the accounts current and to ensure that the commercial banks that have given this are also able to keep their books in order.
Other issue is a presentation made by the Group Managing Director of the NNPC on the status of oil and gas sector, especially as it affects the consumption of premium motor spirit, petrol. Currently, 60 million litres are consumed daily, and this is the total amount being subsidized by government on daily basis, which is eating deeply into the financial purse of the NNPC, preventing it from meeting several of its obligations. Due to this concern, Council sets up a committee headed by Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State. The committee was able to present its draft report.
Council extensively discussed the issues of the report, and the Council still believes that the committee needs to do additional work.
Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos State, speaks on the response of the Council to the presentation made by the Director General of the National Center for Disease Control.
For Council today, the prayers are as follows. Council was called to support the sustained COVID-19 response despite seemingly low cases that we've seen. There is also the urgent need for investment in water, sanitation, and hygiene facility.
In terms of our 2021 plans, we are pushing for the endorsement and operationalization of the National Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan.
There are a number of the states that have not yet completed the NSAS panels, but I think we had reports today that reports have been received from Ekiti, Enugu, and Nasarawa, and more reports have been awaited that they encourage the states, even that haven't completed the panel's work, to send in interim reports.
in the State House. Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Federation Accounts Allocation Committee, FAC, has shared a total of 733.095 billion naira as June 2021 Federation account revenue to the federal, states and local governments councils. This was contained in a communique issued at the end of the virtual meeting of the committee for July 2021. The 733.095 billion naira total distributable revenue comprised distributable statutory revenue of 585.752 billion naira, distributable value-added tax VAT revenue of 143.652 billion naira, and exchange gain of 3.691 billion naira. In June 2021, the sum of 87.469 billion naira was the total deductions for cost of collection, statutory transfers and refunds, and balance in the excess crude account was $60.853 million. The petroleum profit tax, PPT, companies income tax, CIT, oil and gas royalties, import and excise duty recorded substantial increases, while value-added tax, VAT, decreased significantly. In other news, the Nigerian Senate, in collaboration with financial institutions, is working towards price stability and healthy development of the economy. This forms part of the submissions by Senate Committee Chairman on Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions, Senator Uba Sani, at the retreat with Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, in Kaduna. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukwu has details.
Issues concerning deposit insurance, cyber security, implications for the banking sector, and consumer protection are among those brought to the fore at the stakeholders' engagement.
Cooperation and collaboration with other key stakeholders have been proactive in managing the risk associated with cyber insecurity. The NDIC has taken important steps at ensuring safety of the Nigerian banks and protection of depositors in line with its core mandate.
Senate Committee Chairman on Banking, Insurance and other financial institutions, Senator Obasani, says strategies will be mapped out to further reposition the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation to contribute more to the economy.
We also are looking at the areas where we need to strengthen the institution, and we are also trying to make sure that all the agencies and institutions working closely with NDIC, particularly the Central Bank and the Ministry of Finance, come together so that they can work closely without any overlap.
Bank customers are equally moving away from using cash and checks and relying more on electronic banking to complete their financial transactions. In response to this shift, financial institutions continue to develop more web portal and mobile apps. Although these apps and portal are aimed at increasing convenience as well as enhancing the customer experience, they also pose unique risks in terms of cybersecurity and breaches.
With the theme, Financial System Stability, a panacea for sustainable economic growth and development, the role of NDIC is coming on the heels of economic recovery efforts resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachukwu, NTA News.
Time for our first break now. Do stay with us.
I need help, so please go to the market and get me everything I need to cook this food. Get my pepper and get my onions. I'm waiting. Do you know how to buy pepper? Do you know how to buy dashi? You wouldn't even let my mother come and stay. I need help. You don't know how stressful it is taking care of these 3 kids. Are you still there? If you're not getting me fresh meat, do you understand?
Okay, I'm at the meat.
Can you switch to video call, please? Okay, give me that one. The one by your side.
Hey, please. Where do I buy all these things now? Hey, go get Glow Berekete and call Madam.
Berekete. The heavyweight voice and data plan. Get 600 Naira free credit plus 700% bonus on every recharge and up to 100% bonus on data plans.
Either fever or stomachache. I keep him away from junk food.
She also feeds me apples. She says an apple a day keeps...
If you
want to keep germs away, then also wash your hands regularly with Dettol soap.
Meaning?
Germs and disease spread through the hand also. For this, use Dettol soap. Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs. Dettol soap is endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association. Be Dettol sure.
I did look for pension fund administrator. We're soft, make sense, we care for me. Shy. No be the time when story go enter the matter when it's time to deliver. Oh no. The brand is sure them no go stress you. Call them then they accessible. Yes, customer care where they on point. You no go regret when you try, of course. Profitable investment. Everything is just a blend. If you know what's good for you, my guy, make you choose premium pension today. Make that switch to premium pension. Premium pension. Make that switch to premium pension.
Join over 700,000 satisfied members and enjoy the premium experience at our offices across the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. Call 094615-700-704 to make the switch today. Premium pension. Active today, premium tomorrow.
The National Agricultural Land Development Authority invites the general public to the presidential commissioning of its first NALDA Integrated Farm Estate in Daura, Katsina State. Date, Monday 19th July 2021. Venue, Suduje, Daura Local Government, Katsina State. Time 11 a.m. Special guest of honor, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. All invited guests are expected to be seated before the arrival of Mr. President. Prince Paul Ikone, Executive Secretary, Chief Executive Officer, NALDA, announcer.
Take this, Mom. You will need it. My tongue is craving something. Wonder what it is. Twisco. That's my favorite.
Twisco chocolate drink powder is a unique blend of cocoa, milk, and malt fortified with Enofort, a special blend of vitamins and minerals that helps give kids the vitality they need for an action-packed day.
Mommy, let's drink all.
Twisco, power your dream.
The Petroleum Tankers Drivers of Nupeng, in collaboration with the Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, rejoices with all Muslim faithfuls as we celebrate Eid-el-Kabir. We encourage all to relate with one another in trust as brothers and show respect for the rule of law. Please do drive safely as you travel. Show tolerance to other road users. Obey all traffic rules. Don't overspeed. Don't overload. Use your seat belts. Ensure your vehicle is in good condition, as extra care prevents accidents and loss of lives. It is better to arrive at destination safe but late than to lose your life and loved ones. For emergencies, call 122. Happy Eid-el-Kabir. This message is from the Petroleum Tankers Drivers of Nupeng. Otumba Salmon Akoni Oladiti, announcer.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets. With Panadol's Optizorb formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets.
Thank you for staying. Projects by the federal government to increase equitable access to schooling, especially girl-child education in Kano State, have been inspected by the House Committee on Universal Basic Education. In this report, National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu gives an overview of various observations made by the legislators.
35 primary schools were listed for the legislative inspection, out of which the members identified lack of water provision due to poor quality of borehole projects, lack of maintenance culture, and non-provision of drainages as some challenges.
Is that because of the scarcity of the provision of the borehole and even the percentage given to the water and the sanitation is very low.
The committee members at a meeting with Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje and Kano State Universal Basic Education Board commended the state government's effort to better the girl-child education.
And we all have to join hands at every level to ensure that we deal with this problem, because the implications for our country are very, very serious.
The oversight, as a continuous exercise to other states of the Federation, is aimed at addressing barriers to education caused by cultural norms, poverty, and poor infrastructure. Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
And away from Kano now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has published a list of candidates and their credentials for the November 6th Anambra governorship election. Out of the 18 political parties, there is no candidate for the PDP for now due to pending court litigation, while Chukwuma Michael Umeoji is the candidate for APGA, though there is a court order. Emmanuel Andy Nnamdi Uba is the candidate for the APC with no pending court case, while Dorin Ifoma Maduka Arisa is the candidate for Action Alliance, and Obi Sylvester Chukwudozie is the candidate for African Action Congress. Statement by INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, notes that the Commission took cognizance of the judgments and court orders served on it in relation to the primaries of the political parties and other processes leading to the election. Now, joining me via Zoom is the INEC National Commissioner on Information and Voter Education, Festus Okoye. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Festus. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you for joining us. Many were expecting to see the name of the former CBN governor, Charles Soludo, as the candidate of APGA. But rather, it was Chukwuma Umeoji's name that appeared. What really happened?
Well, by the provisions of Section 287 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, the Independent National Electoral Commission is under a constitutional obligation to give effect to orders from courts of law, especially courts that are recognized by the Constitution. So in relation to the party primaries of APGA, we received various court orders and judgments relating to the said primaries. And the latest ones we received, one was a judgment from a Jigawa High Court sitting in Benin Kudu, and the second one was a court order from an FCT High Court that sat in Kubwa, mandating the commission to monitor the party primaries conducted by the Judo KK faction of the party, and also ordering the commission to recognize the said Judo KK as the acting national chairman of the party. So based on the court orders we received, we decided that it was that the orders were clear and that the name we should publish as the candidate of the party was the candidate you mentioned.
Okay, now, if Professor Soludo didn't make the list as a result of factions within the APGA, is there room for substitution if the court decides otherwise?
Well, you know that in the Commission's rules and regulations, and based on our guidelines, the national chairman of APGA that we recognize as a commission is Victor Oye. And it was also the Victor Oye that we gave the access code to the commission's portal. And they were the ones that submitted the name and personal particulars of their nominated candidate electronically. So if tomorrow the court gives a contrary order saying that we should remove the name we have published, we will definitely comply with such a court order.
Okay, so why is there no candidate for the PDP?
Well, if in relation to the PDP, we also received two court orders. One of them said we should maintain the status quo before the publication of the list of candidates. Now, the candidate whose name was initially submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission as the candidate of the party also went to court, asking the court to order the commission to publish his name, and the court declined that particular request. So based on the court order we have, we ought to maintain the status quo before publication, and that was exactly what we have done.
Now, so does this mean that this is the end of the road for the party in the election, or is there still a grace period for the PDP?
Well, the PDP as a political party submitted the name of a particular candidate within the constitutionally a statutorily allowed window. So the moment the courts resolve the matters relating to the party, the commission will also look at whatever order that has been given and then give effect to such a court order. So there's still room for them to sort out their matters. But you know, the commission is really worried because in some of the political parties relating to their party primaries, we have court order from almost every geopolitical zone relating to an election that is taking place in Anambra State. And the court orders keep on pouring in. So I think that the courts have a responsibility to assist the commission wade through this issue by not allowing parties to move away from the jurisdiction where the cause of action arose and go to other jurisdictions to go and obtain orders. Sometimes we are not even aware of some of these orders.
Thank you so much, Mr. Festus Okoye, for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right. Meanwhile, the national chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Victor Oye, has warned alleged manipulations of the party's Anambra 2021 governorship primary election that produced Charles Soludo as its candidate. Addressing the media at the party's national secretariat in Abuja, Victor Oye called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to publish the name of its candidate in the interest of democracy.
We're the first political party to upload the particulars of our candidates. According to Section 31(3) of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, the Commission shall, within 7 days of the receipt of the particulars of the candidates, publish the same in the constituency where the candidate intends to contest the election. We submitted the particulars of our candidate on July 2. It was the end on July 9. Now the question is, why did INEC wait till 16th, which is today?
He said APGA believes in a transparent pre-election process as a basic requirement to a healthy political contest. Still talking politics, a meeting of the People's Democratic Party Northern Governors Forum has ended in Abuja, resolving to persistently push to making Nigeria's democracy stable and virile. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The meeting attended by Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri of Adamawa, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal of Sokoto, who is also the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Governor Darius Dixon Ishaku of Taraba, Governor Samuel Otom of Benue, and Senator Bala Abdulkadir Mohammed of Bauchi states, deliberated on the state of the nation's socio-political well-being as well as security.
And we, the governors, also have resolved that on our own, we should continue to do the best for our people, as we are already doing in our various states.
On the recent defections by some of their colleague governors from the party, Governor Ishaku explains that their reason was best known to them, as he promised the rest PDP governors resolve to work in defense of democracy in Nigeria. Meanwhile, the governor of Edo State and chairman of the PDP National E-Registration Committee, Godwin Obaseki, has inaugurated the committee's technical group at the party's national headquarters in Abuja. The party's e-registration exercise slated to begin with Edo and Anambra states will begin from the 1st of August 2021. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
And away from political matters now, President Muhammadu Buhari has congratulated the Executive Director of Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Olusegun Awolowo, on his election as President of National Trade Promotion Organizations from ECOWAS member states. The President says Awolowo's unanimous election is testament to the confidence reposed in him and in Nigeria by Chief Executive Officers of Trade Promotion Organizations in West Africa, and urges him to serve to the best of his ability and do the country proud. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade has more.
Receiving members of the trade promotion organizations in West Africa on behalf of President Muhammadu Buhari, Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, notes that an ECOWAS trade promotion organization network holds great possibilities for Nigeria and the sub-region in the areas of exchange of commercial information and business opportunities, adding that the domiciling of the Secretariat in Abuja would open vistas of opportunities for Nigeria.
We know that our region cannot deliver without the economic and socio-economic development of our people. And it is very clear that the challenges of our region in the socio-economic sector, particularly in infrastructure, are so huge, and the investments needed cannot be provided by government alone. Therefore, the public-private partnership is a very important key. And this is also a theme that is very clear to the heart of Mr. President.
I think we all endorse this idea of government, our private sectors, NGO, and it's very important. It's really a game-changing organization. That's why we are very happy that the government of Nigeria supports this.
The president wishes the executive director of Nigerian Promotion Council, who was elected president of the organization, well in his new assignment, expressing confidence that Nigeria and ECOWAS would benefit a lot from his expertise in trade promotions. The delegation comprised of representatives of Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea, Liberia, Senegal, Benin, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Niger, and Nigeria. At the State House, Jide Onifade, NJ News.
Time for another quick break. Please stay on.
Will this penalty be the decider? It's going through the player's mind here. You could cut the tension with a knife. Is there one more twist in this long, rocky road to the final? And here's the kick, and he scores! They've taken the win. They're through.
Don't worry, my boy. There's always a next time.
It's into Igalo from the wing.
Join the winning team and stream every match with Glow special data plans. For everything Glow, dial *777#. Great supporters of football. Glow.
See, nurse, she's saying she feels unwell, despite my efforts to practice good hygiene.
Mom says wash your hands to keep the germs away.
Washing hands is good, but surfaces can also have germs, and you shouldn't use just anything for cleaning them. Use Jig. Jig's formula has been scientifically proven to stay active for longer, giving you whitening and germ kill protection on a variety of surfaces. Disinfect to protect, just Jig it. Endorsed by National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives.
Hands, whether they belong to the young or old, Christian, or Muslim, no matter who you are, your hands are powerful. To stop the spread of COVID-19. H. Have your hands washed or sanitized frequently. A. Always cough or sneeze into your elbow. N. No going out without a face mask. D. Distance of at least 2 arms length should be maintained. S. Stay indoors and self-isolate if you feel sick. Hands.
We are StarTimes, the most affordable digital pay TV platform with the widest signal coverage in Nigeria, dedicated to bringing the best TV entertainment around the world to your screen. From Hollywood to Bollywood to Nollywood, we offer the most affordable subscription. Enjoy over 75 channels for as low as 1,700 naira, like Nat Geo Wild, BBC, ESPN, and premium sport like Emirates FA Cup, La Liga, Bundesliga, wrestling. What's more exciting? We have the most flexible payment options in Nigeria. Don't dull. Join us now for an exciting journey. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Glad to have you back. The first 10 days of Zulhaj, the 12th month of the Islamic lunar calendar, are the most sacred days in the Islamic belief, the climax of which is a spiritual rite of sacrificing specific animals in commemoration of the sacrifice of Prophet Abraham. Amini Umar in Kano found in this report on the spiritual significance of the days.
These first verses of chapter 89 of the glorious Quran underscore the significance of the first 10 days of Dhul Hajj, the 12th month of Islamic calendar. Against this backdrop, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam enjoined Muslims to intensify devotion through worship, sacrifice, and sharing.
Anambra said, almsgiving, or that is a gift, is one of the trees from Jannah, from the paradise, and the branches are spreaded in the world. As long as somebody stick to one of the branches, Allah the Most High will take him with that to Jannah, to his paradise.
Fasting on the 9th day of Dhul Hajj, the day of Arafat, for those who are not privileged to go to pilgrimage in Mecca, occupies special status of significance. The sacred days end with Eid-el-Adha, where Muslims are expected to sacrifice by slaughtering livestock recommended in order of preference, with ram as the most preferred according to some Islamic schools.
If you have the good intention and you cannot afford it, then Allah Most High will reward you with that.
The sacrifice ends on the 9th day of Dhul Hajj. In Kano, Aminu Umar, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government has declared Tuesday, July 20 and Wednesday, July 21, 2021 as public holidays to mark this year's Eid-el-Kabir celebration. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, who made declaration on behalf of the federal government, congratulates all Muslim faithful and Nigerians at home and in the diaspora on this occasion. Aregbesola, while wishing Muslim faithful a happy Eid-el-Kabir celebration, advised all Nigerians to take responsibility by reporting suspicious individuals and criminal activities to law enforcement agencies, especially during this festival. In other news, the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, says contrary to negative connotatives about Nigeria being a failed state, the country has the potential to emerge as a foremost nation of the world. The chairman, NIPR Integration, Peace and Security Committee, Dr. Ike Neliaku, said this at the committee's meeting in Abuja this Friday, affirming that the quality of views expressed by different partner organizations during the meeting was an indication of Nigeria having all it takes to beat the current travails. Meanwhile, the NIPR says it is determined to ensure that the outcome of its forthcoming summit on integration, peace and security will be a game changer for the benefit of the citizens and the youths in particular. Hence, its inauguration on Monday of a 54 committee to drive citizens' member national planning-based summit towards finding lasting solutions to various challenges in the country. The North-East Development Commission has concluded plans for the establishment of more ICT training centers across the northeastern states in order to eradicate poverty and unemployment amongst youths in the region. This was disclosed at the graduation of the second batch of ICT graduates of the Commission in Bauchi. Mahmoud Ibn Muhammad reports.
Northeast Nigeria has been grappling with insurgency, which cripple its socio-economic activities. To remedy the situation, Northeast Development Commission selected 76 youth from 6 states of the region and trained them in automobile engineering. Kana Abubakar from Goza local government area of Borno State is among the trainees.
With this training, we pray that the commission will continue to give support and in collaboration with the 6 state coming from the region so that the life of the youth will be changed.
Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, in a message says the initiative is geared towards making the youth more productive and self-reliant.
We have only 70-something people that have been trained here. Each of these people comes from a family. So definitely about 3 or 5 people will also benefit from these people. So when you multiply this number, these are the kind of programs that the ministry, under the leadership of Hajiya Sadia Umar Farouk, always appreciates.
We are choosing vocations and other careers young men can do, and we thought partnering with the fund center to train people in various aspects of technical aspect of motor repairs, electricity, all that can help them to make living out of it.
Another batch of 74 youths will soon commence a similar training in Kaduna. Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
And on education, Nigeria has become the first in Africa in the commitment to achieve the ambitious Safe Schools Declaration to protect educational institutions from attacks, which the United Nations say violations against children in conflict is alarming. Usman Ali reports that founding members of the declaration, Norway, Argentina, Spain, and UNICEF, met in Abuja.
School bells are ringing, but there is a problem. Some schools closed to ensure safety of students and teachers in Kaduna State, for instance. Armed bandits attack educational institutions in the northwest, just as in 2014, insurgents took away 276 schoolgirls in Chibok, Borno State, and then the Dapchi incident. Attacks in schools and education is not identical in the present world. Records by Global Coalition to Protect Education indicate that more than 22,000 students, teachers and academics were injured, killed or harmed in attacks in different parts of the world. School shooting, bombings, raiding and even turning learning facilities to military camps and refugee centers constitute various forms of attack in schools. This declaration started in 2015 and 109 countries, including Nigeria, ratified.
The Federal Ministry of Education has spearheaded the implementation of the SSD, the Safe Schools Declaration in Nigeria, and has received all the support they need from the President Buhari-led government.
This family is a unique partnership between states and civil society that has been the foundation for the Safe Schools process since its very beginning.
Their commitment, they say, is not only on paper, as they are determined to make it a reality. Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
We head to Lagos now. When the rain started in Lagos today, it seemed normal considering the fact that this is the core rainy season. But the intense rainfall poured non-stop from 12:30 p.m. to about 5 p.m. in the evening. The speed with which the downpour left most parts of the state flooded was alarming, particularly as the drainage channels were overwhelmed by the intensity and volume of flood waters. Some vehicles were virtually submerged at car parks, leaving their owners stranded. Those who were stuck in the Lagos traffic ended up with more harrowing experiences when their vehicles got flooded. Many commuters and workers on the island, for instance, who reside on the mainland, are stranded, with some having no hope of getting home.
Because I haven't, since this year, this is the first time I witnessed this type of rain. Even where we are walking here, the substance a lot. So the rain is terrible. You can see there's hold up everywhere. Everywhere there's hold up. Some people slept, went back to the office to sleep because of the rain.
Everywhere was like flooded and things like that. I had to trek from Idumota to VI. I trekked, as you can see, I'm wet.
The Nigerian Television Authority Lagos Network Center on Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, was not spared as the heavy rains flooded pavements, newsroom, editing rooms, studios, and most parts of the premises, forcing the station to suspend all its transmission and temporarily shut down. Despite hours of downpour, some parts of Ahmadu Bello Way did not have the usual waist-deep flood experience that often characterized it because of recent road constructions that made it easy for flood water to drain off. Even now, all around the metropolis, the gridlocks caused by heavy rainfall and flooding still persist. And from Lagos, we go to Gombe, where after about 2 decades of efforts, Gombe State has finally become home of fertilizer blending for not only the state, but the northeast region. Emmanuel Akila reports that Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya flagged off the sales and distribution of subsidized fertilizer for the 2021 wet season farming, with fertilizer blended in Gombe.
The market price of fertilizer is getting out of the reach of peasant farmers, hence the subsidy by the Gombe state government.
The price in the market is 13,000, 15,000, and him as a governor, he sell it 7,500.
For Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, there is no better policy of government that impacts on the lives of the larger population of Nigerians than that which is aimed at making farming inputs accessible to farmers.
Instead of around 9,600 that is agreed, we've declared our price to be 7,500, and we shall ensure that we supply to our people up to the grassroots, that is to the unit level. That's what we do here.
Besides the subsidy that farmers will enjoy on the fertilizer for 2021 farming season, as flagged off by the governor, is the cheering news of the coming to life of the Gombe State fertilizer blending plant. The farmers also got free seeds and herbicides to encourage them on greater productivity. In Gombe, Emmanuel Akila, NTA News.
Thank you, Emmanuel. There is the need for Nigerians to inculcate the habit of first aid as a major step in saving lives in the country. National Coordinator and Vice Chairman, Board of Trustees, St. George's Ambulance Foundation, Engineer Hamzat Adams, emphasized this at a courtesy visit to the management of the Nigerian Television Authority in Abuja. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Roads, in the house, on the street, and everywhere you can think of. There is a tendency of accidents occurring, and this means that nowhere is indeed free from such. Sadly, many deaths recorded are as a result of delay in attending to victims, as well as lack of application of first aid on them. Bothered by this trend, the St. George's Ambulance Foundation is collaborating with the Nigerian Television Authority to create awareness on the essence of having first aid kits at every location to ensure quick response to victims of accidents and emergencies.
This enlightenment is an opportunity for us to speak to the public. I will thank the management of NTA for you to have given us this opportunity.
The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, represented by the Executive Director, Administration and Training, Professor Steve Egbo, emphasized that saving lives is a major responsibility. Hence, those involved must have access to kits at any point in time.
Injunctions required from us by God is to save lives. It doesn't matter if the person in danger is a stranger or is somebody we know.
The foundation will be given an honorary award to NTA for its role in ensuring safety of lives through its different platforms. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Nigeria has become the first in Africa in the commitment to achieve the ambitious Safe Schools Declaration to protect educational institutions from attacks, which United Nations say violations against children in conflict is alarming. Usman Aliyu's reports on the founding members of the declaration, Norway, Argentina and Spain, as well as UNICEF, which met in Abuja, has been taken earlier. Now, to the next story, the Nigerian Permanent Representative to UNESCO, Dr. Hajo Sani, is collaborating with the Ministry of Sports and Youth Development to build the capacity of Nigerian youths. This was during a familiarization visit to the ministry. Ngozi Sylvia, Technical reports.
The UNESCO representative, while interfacing with the Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, was excited by the partnership and highlights possible areas of collaboration.
In UNESCO, we have a special operational strategy for youth,
And I believe my being there is something that I will also look down to my country and see what my country will benefit from.
With just few weeks to the commencement of the 2020 Olympics competition, the minister expresses optimism that the visit will be a real boost to the Nigerian athletics.
And the fact that that's part of the agenda and the responsibility of UNESCO for us is important. She is there. She will help us to make sure that we obey the guidelines, to make sure that whatever is happening within the Ethiopian world under WADA, that we are kept abreast, and she'll be a voice for us.
The recently approved kits for the athletes depicting the nation's color were showcased during the visit. Ngozi Silva, Technical, NTA News.
The Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Nigerian women have joined other Nigerians in mourning the loss of Pastor Emily Aig-Imoukhuede, who passed away in London, United Kingdom, at the age of 79. The Women Affairs Minister, in a statement, acknowledged the contributions of the former minister, which led to the appointment of more women in governance, as well as the reforms she brought in the National Council for Women's Societies between 1988 and 1993 as the then president of the council. The statement also eulogized the virtues of late Mrs. Imoukhuede and her role in the Better Life for Rural Women project of the late Mrs. Miriam Babangida, empowering women in the grassroots. The Women Affairs Minister prayed for the repose of the soul of the great teacher, mentor, God-fearing woman whose life impacted many in her lifetime. And that's Network News tonight. Many thanks for being part of it. And please remember that the fight against rape and rapists is still on. Do your part. I'm Ienre. Good night.